to our first video here in this series. We're going to be doing a tumbling name activity, and we're going to do this in 3ds Max. So we're going to find the icon on our desktop. Here we're running 2026 version for now, and it looks like this 3ds Max. We'll open it, and it will take a second as we open. Now when it does that, it's going to have this splash screen that comes up, and we can depress the button on there in order to have that so it doesn't show up every time, and that will speed some things up. Okay, so I opened up on my second window here. Let me pull it over as soon as it's done loading. Okay, and here we go. So this is our home page here. We're not going to get into a lot of the user interface in this video. We're just going to jump right in, and what we're going to do is we're going to put our name in the space here. So first thing I want to do is click on the text. Here is our create tab. If you don't see this, okay, we have to find and click on the plus button to get these different objects that we can put in under standard primitives. And I'm going to click on text, and we're going to put in our name, and I'm just going to click anywhere on this grid, and it will lock it down. And if I change my view to top view, I'm not going to click yet, but here's what I don't want it to say text plus. I want to do each of my letters separate and individual so that I can animate them separate. If I type it all of one, they're going to move together. So I'm going to do my first name because it's shorter. I'm going to do Jason. So J, and then I'm going to click on here for my second letter. So there's my first letter. I click here, and now the J is still under there. Now I'm going to change this to my A, and we'll do that for my SON. So there's the second one. I'm going to try to line them up semi-close. It will be less to move around later. And then this is my S. Okay. And then here's my O. And I'll highlight there. So it's kind of repeat every time I want to put a new letter in. Okay. So get your name in. If you need to pause the video to do that, that's fine. And then what you notice then is, all right, I'm going to click off of that, and I don't need this extra text. On your keyboard, you should have a key that says delete. You have a backspace and a delete. They're different on a Windows keyboard. So find the one that says delete and hit it if you have something else in there that you don't want. Next up, they are flat. They do not have any 3D volume. So we're going to add that to do that. But let's kind of straighten things out before we highlight them and get them lined up right. So next part we do, we can move this cube. Okay, that will let us adjust the space. Now, I want to slide my window down, and that's called panning. So if you look on your mouse, you can depress the wheel on your mouse, and that will let you slide that down or pan. Okay, you press the button on the wheel like a button, and that lets you move up, down, right, left. Now, I can use that wheel. If I zoom in and out, that's rolling the wheel up and down. That lets me zoom. And if I hold the Alt key on my keyboard, and now I drag instead of panning, that will let me rotate my scene a little bit and kind of line everything up good. I can also use the window cube here at the top, and that will let me select my view, and I can do an auto rotate using some of these keys. If I get lost real quick, let's say I zoom way out and I don't know where it's at, and I zoom in over here and it's like, oh man, I'm totally lost. I hover over here on the cube, and then this pops up, and this will take me home, and that drops me right back into my 0, 0, 0 on my workspace. So I'm going to go to top view so I can line these up. I'm going to go up here and grab my move tool, which is also W, select and move. It's this one here. I'm just going to drag all these down on the line and kind of line them up. Okay, 1, 2. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just going to give you a nice starting place to organize things. Okay. And if you want to change some of the parameters of this, like we can change the font and stuff, we can do that. If you need to add another letter, or let's say you spelled one wrong. Okay. I had that last time I typed one of them wrong. Okay, I can change that. But right now, we are still in the create menu. So everything we add here is going to just add more. It's not going to change what we actually have. What we're going to need to do to extrude and to change what we have, we need to go over into the next menu. We're going to do that by hovering here, and this is the modify button. I click here, and that's going to give me a modify panel of anything that I have highlighted in my scene. So I have my select tool. I can do the J. Now it's the J. It's going to let me change or modify any of these letters. If I want to change them all, I can drag a box around everything, multi-select, and then I can change all of them. It's not giving me as many choices because there's 5 things selected. But if I want to change like the font on these, I can go down and select one at a time, and I can see what they look like for the different fonts. Okay, and maybe I have to select it here first, and then all right, that will change my font. So you could do that as well. I'm going to undo that. I'll let you choose if you like that. Okay, and let's see, undo up here should get me back to where I was. So here's our undo button. Control Z on your keyboard will also do that. All right, so everything's lined up. Next up is we want to do some extrusion, because if I look at it from my front, everything is perfectly flat. That does not look anything special. I can do that in a regular Word document. So we're going to highlight the whole name again. Okay. And we're going to go back into my modify, but now we have a modifier list, and these are things that we can do or change with these letters. So there's a whole bunch of things that we can do to this, but we want to extrude this out, which means we're going to drag it or pull it out to give it some volume. I click on extrude and it didn't do anything. But if we look over here at my parameters, it says the amount that we're extruding is 0. Okay, so all we got to do is change that. We're going to drag this up or down. Okay, and that will let us extrude. So you can highlight it and type that in. So I could type 20 in, or if I hover on my arrows, I can do up down. So I'm just going to give it some volume here, and now we have our name. Now what I'd like to be able to do is, from the front view, I want to have this up, and I'm going to have these off screen and drop down kind of together, separate, and bounce in different directions and land on the base here. So let's do this. We have them highlighted, but we need to rotate them so we can see. I'm going to go up here next to the move tool. We have a rotate tool. Select and rotate. And I'm going to grab, I can rotate it this way. Nope, I don't want that. And I want to rotate it with this red line here and tip it forward. Okay. And then we're going to go back to W or move. We're going to drag these up off screen, and we're getting ready for the next part, which is going to be animation. So the last thing that I want to do, I'm going to drag this down and go up a little higher. Before we do anything else, let's save what we got. Okay. To do that so we don't lose it, we're going to go File, Save. And if you have a folder already set up perfect, you can put it in your folder for class. Now, if you don't, we just want to look that it is going to have a default folder here. Mine is this one. This will tell you where it's going to save by default, which is fine. We can change that later. But what I want you to do is, you'll notice I have different variations of this saved. We want to save often, and sometimes we'll make backup copies so that we don't lose anything. So in here, I'm going to give it my number that we find in our class. Okay, so it's 1.4, and I'm going to call it name project. So I'm going to save over my other one because I don't need that other one. And okay, there it is. So I have it saved. I know it's saved as that because it's showing up here. It should tell me 1.4 name project, and then we're ready to go in the next video. So our next video is we're going to start animating this. So stick around, come back, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for joining me.